All right, today we're diving into some of the most bizarre and, honestly, compelling images ever sent back from space. We're talking about the moon and Mars, and specifically, some strange things lurking in NASA's own official archives, anomalies that have made a lot of people ask, are we just seeing rocks, or is this actual evidence of alien life? Let's take a closer look. It's the big one, isn't it? The question that's been on our minds forever. When you look up at that night sky, just filled with stars, it's almost impossible not to wonder, is anybody else out there? It's that single question that has pushed us to explore, that's funded this massive multi-billion-dollar search for an answer. And our journey to find those answers really kicked into high gear in the late 20th century. I mean, think about it. 1968, the Apollo 8 crew sees an Earthrise. For the first time, humans see our planet from that perspective. A year later, we landed on the moon. Then our focus shifted to that little red dot in the sky, Mars. Ever since the 70s, and especially with rovers like Curiosity, we've just been getting this constant stream of data from these other worlds. And that's where things start to get really strange. So let's start with our closest neighbor, the moon. It was our first big trip, right? The most familiar thing in our night sky. But for some researchers, the thousands of photos we've gotten back from lunar orbiters have raised more questions than they've answered. They've revealed things that, well, they just don't have an easy explanation. A major voice in this whole conversation is a researcher named Scott C. Waring. This guy spends hour after hour just poring over public NASA archives. And he's absolutely convinced he's found compelling evidence, not just of, ancient life, but of active underground civilizations hiding just beneath the lunar surface, right now. So what exactly is he seeing? Well, take this image. Waring spotted this object in a NASA photo. He pointed out its sharp geometric angles, saying they looked totally unnatural compared to all the round craters. To him, this wasn't just a rock, it looked like a building. So he published his findings online for everyone to see. But here's where the story gets really weird. Just a few days after Waring's post started getting a ton of attention, NASA updated its photo archive. In the new picture of that exact same spot, the object was gone. It had just vanished. So this leaves you with two possibilities, right? And both of them are pretty wild. Either NASA deliberately edited the photo to hide something they didn't want us to see, or a physical structure on the moon was moved or destroyed, which would suggest some kind of ongoing active operation up there. For guys like Waring, either way you slice it, it points to a cover-up. And that brings us to another huge mystery on the moon. On the far side, the side we never see, scientists found this massive anomaly, a 5,300 square kilometer deposit of dense metal buried deep underground. Now, the official scientific explanation is that a gigantic, metal-rich asteroid hit the moon billions of years ago. Makes sense, right? But other researchers argue that an impact that powerful would have literally shattered the moon into pieces. Their theory? It's not an impact crater. It's the metallic footprint of a massive hidden alien city. Okay, let's hop over to Mars. We've sent 21 different missions to the Red Planet. And yeah, most of them failed, but the ones that made it have become our eyes and ears on another world. They've sent back an absolute avalanche of images, and in those photos, people are seeing things that just don't seem to belong. Let's run through a few of the famous ones. First up, an image from the Curiosity rover seems to show a small, perfectly shaped pyramid. It's sitting there among all these random rocks, but its perfect geometric shape led some researchers to claim it had to be an artifact, maybe built by some kind of small-statured aliens. Then you've got the one that basically started this whole thing, the famous face on Mars. This picture, taken by Viking 1 back in '76, looks for all the world like a giant, human-like face staring up into space. Now this caused a huge stir, but NASA's official line has always been the same. It's just a big mountain, and the face is nothing more than a trick of light and shadow. In 2014, the Curiosity rover sent back this photo. And, well, lying there in the Martian dust is something that looks exactly like a thigh bone. So, was it a fossil? The remains of some Martian creature? NASA scientists came out and said no. It's just a rock that's been carved into that familiar shape by thousands of years of Martian wind. But this one's a little tougher to explain away with just wind. This is a photo from 2014, taken at night, and it clearly shows a beam of what looks like artificial light shining up from the ground. For a lot of people, this isn't a rock, it's not a shadow. They see this as the smoking gun. clear proof of active technology working on Mars right now. So what is going on here? How can two people look at the exact same image and one sees a rock and the other sees a relic from an ancient civilization? To really get a handle on this, we need to look beyond Mars and take a look inside our own minds. There's this crucial psychological thing called pareidolia. It sounds complicated, but it's really simple. It's our brain's hardwired tendency to find familiar patterns, especially faces, in random things. It's the reason we see a man in the moon, or animals in the clouds, or even a face on a piece of toast. It's like a mental shortcut. But could it be the real explanation for everything we've just looked at? I mean, the list of these so-called anomalies on Mars is long, and it gets longer every time we get new photos. People have claimed to find a skull, a fish-shaped rock, stone statues that look like something out of an ancient history museum, and even what looks like a half-buried engine. So, is this all just our brains playing tricks on us? Or is it possible that somewhere in that pile of random rocks, some of these things are actually the real deal? And that's really what this whole debate boils down to. You've got two totally different ways of looking at the same evidence. One side looks at Mars and sees a dead planet, where wind and erosion have created a whole gallery of cosmic coincidences. The other side sees a planet that's haunted by the ghosts of a forgotten past, a world covered in the ruins and relics of a civilization that was once there. So, after looking at all this, the question really comes back to you. When you look at these strange signals from the moon and from Mars, what do you see? Are they just geological quirks, tricks of light, and our own minds desperate to find a pattern? Or are they the first tantalizing traces of life beyond Earth? The answer is still out there, just waiting for us to find it.